Hello everybody, I'm James from Hidden Legend Gaming, and welcome to my first segment of Bite-Size Reviews. On this segment, I will take a few minutes to look at an indie game that I've been playing recently, give you my thoughts about it, and tell you whether or not you should pick it up as well. I hope to put these videos out as much as I can, and have them be a bit of an appetizer for the larger videos, because some of these bigger ones are just taking a little more time to do, and they feel a little overwhelming, so I'm going to give you a little more content to enjoy. And so, without further ado, I'll give you my first bite-sized reviewed game, Luftrausers for the PS3 and PS Vita. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I actually wasn't overly impressed with the first few minutes I played of Luftrausers. The controls felt awkward and like nothing I'd ever experienced before, and the first few times I launched my ship, it just felt like the same. You know, same plane, same setting, same everything. It just seemed to me like a generic, overly stylized shoot-'em-up, and I was really wondering why this game had received so much hype and praise throughout the gaming community. And then, not too long after, things sort of changed. I got used to the controls, and I began enjoying the gameplay a little bit more. And, eventually, I finally unlocked my first plane part. And after that, it was true love. There is a huge additional depth to the gameplay that comes from the seemingly endless possible combinations of weapon, body, and engine parts that you have at your disposal to create new and unique planes. One of the most endearing parts of this game is discovering which of these possible combination works for you best. Each customized plane even has their own name, so you can easily remember which ones are your favorites. Sure, some of the parts did seem a little bit overpowered, but almost all of the weapons had a downside that went along with their strengths to make it a little more balanced. And it is less about each individual part than it is about the combination of parts and how you can use them strategically to meld to your style of play and, you know, to continue to rack up high scores. The gameplay itself and the setting are always the same. Your plane launches from a large ship where you're tasked to shoot down everything around you, including other planes, boats, and jets, all while trying to rack up a high score and survive as long as possible. There are also jetpack joyride-esque missions that you're tasked to complete, as well as a leveling system, but these things aren't really... They're not really stuff that you're going to pay attention to. You might overlook them because they're not really that enticing to the player. The enticing part is the actual gameplay itself. While earlier I said that the controls kind of felt awkward at first, once you get used to them, they actually feel really tight and precise. And if you're like me, you'll wonder why you even had problems with them in the first place. Aside from that, trying out new ships is extremely fun. Whether you want to go for all agility, or all brute force, or even strange, weird combinations of the two, with different variables and such, the results are almost always very satisfying. One other thing you might notice is that the same song plays every time you launch a new ship to play. The catch is that each different plane combination gives you a remixed sort of version of that original song, which is kind of cool actually. It gives a little bit of variety to the music while still being familiar, and I thought it was pretty unique. The art style is also like nothing I've ever seen in a game before. It has an overlaying sepia color tone and a vaguely early 20th century visual aesthetic that is rarely, if ever, shown in video games. I also enjoyed the very minimalistic art style that they presented. It just sort of fits the style of game. I should also mention that if you survive the wave of enemies long enough, a huge blimp will appear at the top of the screen, and this thing will more than likely kill you. But if you somehow manage to kill it like I did, inexplicably, you will unlock SMFT mode, which is the same as the main game essentially, except that there's tons more enemies and they're way more aggressive. It's not for the faint of heart, trust me. The one downside I will admit is that despite all of the different combinations you can make with all the different ship parts and all that, there is a little bit of a lack of depth and variation to the gameplay. As awesome as the gameplay, visual style, and setting are, none of it ever really changes, even a little bit, and the repetition may not be enough for some players to keep invested. However, if you're a big fan of the gameplay anyways, none of this should really even matter to you, and you'll more than likely sink a bunch of hours into it just like I did. Overall, I would say Luftrausers is a very fun and focused skill-based shooter, with an appealing and unique art direction, and lots of replay value for those who love the gameplay. and it really is a perfect pick up and play experience, especially on the Vita. I would definitely recommend it. Thanks everyone for watching. This is my first attempt at a small little review like this, so if you have any feedback, give me some, criticisms in the comments. If you like the video, like, subscribe, all that nonsense. And, tell me if you bought Luftrausers. What do you think of it? Do you agree with my review, or what else do you think I could have added, or what are your opinions on the game itself? And check out my other videos, and I'll see you next time.